I love refrigerators.
61-year-old white boy what don't know nothing. Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. Thumbs up for that. Again, I am right next to a main road out here with a hospital down at the other end, so there's a lot of traffic, and with the weather heating up, I need my windows open, so I'm sorry if it gets loud. But I've got some things that I want to talk about. Number one, first off, I finally played a full game of the game Space Marine Adventures Labyrinth of the Necrons. Now, I bought this game knowing, hard doing that, sort of thing again. Yeah, PVC, premature ventricular contraction. Yay. I bought this knowing that it's like, in the website, it says ages 10 up. In the rule book, they say 8 up. So, or even on the box somewhere, maybe on that one, but it's ages 8 and up. So it's not an intensely difficult game because they want, people, kids, to be able to pick it up and play. And I've mentioned before how, make sure my box lid doesn't fall, that when the Necrons show up on the board, they don't do anything. They just teleport in, and then they're there. Effectively, they teleport in, and then stand there silently glaring at you judgmentally. And you can't move through them, you have to destroy them, and then you can walk through them. But they never move, they never attack, they just stand there where they spawn. So, when you get the cards, because there are cards that determine the order of play, which I think is nice. It's a nice bit of randomization. So when you're pulling up the cards, each of your Space Marines, and you play with 4 with 1 in reserve, each of them has 2 cards. And there is X number of cards of Necron type cards, and then they're shuffled into a tiny deck, and then you flip over a card, and then whatever symbol, it's that model's turn. Well, not necessarily model, could be a little cardboard thingy, but basically the point still being it's that person's turn. So when you get a Necron one, basically you get one of 2 kinds. There's others, but they're few. Generally it's when one of them teleports in, or when 2 of them teleport in. Now it sounds so dramatic, like here's the Necron reinforcements. Strange green lightning crackles and leaps, opening a portal from another part of the labyrinth. A Necron steps through the energy portal, looks around with a shimmer of its glowing eyes, raises its weapon, and begins to stalk towards the Space Marines. Place a Necron minion square on translocation, counter on translocation square 4. And then it never moves. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't lift its gun. It doesn't stalk toward you. It teleports in and then stands silently and glares at you. They never move. And so you got to destroy them, get past, because you're trying to get to a control panel, because there are 4 entrances on a board. You come in on one of them. The 3 exits are blocked, and so you don't know which one is the actual exit. And so you've got to get to this console where you attempt to turn it on, and then when you do, you flip over all of the 3 blocked doors. One of them, at random, is the one that you have to go for. So you choose a board, one of 6 boards, and then you come in at whatever one you choose, but then the exit is randomly chosen, and so there's more randomness there. That part's nice as well. So you have to travel through one of the there are 6 spawn points for the Necrons, labeled 1 through 6. And the other one was just invasion beam, and then 2 of them teleport in. But you have to move your Space Marines through this area, and when you've got a Necron in front of you, you've got to shoot it or use your close hand weapon, take it out so that you can continue moving through. Through the paths you have to take are the spots where they teleport in, the spawn points. Since they don't attack or move in any way, shape, or form once they appear, well, first I'll do this one. I gotta talk about this part, because when they do spawn in and they land on a spot that's already got a counter on it, you move over until you find a spot. So it would be, oh, okay, I'll put him in this square. Oh, there's already one there. So I go over to this square. Okay, there we are. And so you can rapidly start filling up with just the whole area with Necrons. And then you've got to travel through these areas. Now, if you happen to be on a square where a Necron teleports in, and again, you do have to walk through the areas that are the specific spawn points. So if this says one of them shows up in square one, and you happen to be in square one, you're in trouble. Now, each of the Space Marines effectively has 2 hit points. You are healthy, wounded, dead. You get wounded by having a Necron teleport in on top of you. Basically, it lands on your head, you get wounded, and it doesn't teleport in. So I had my 4 Space Marines. The only skills, special skills that they had from equipment were things to make the console work better, and it was just, they were useless in general. 4 of them come in. 1 of them ended up having to stay in a square. Necron came in. Bam! Wounded. Okay, that was bad. Necron later on teleported in. Bam! On top of that one again. Suddenly I'm down to 3 Space Marines. Now, if you get 4 of them out, that is a major victory. You get 3 of them out, that's a minor victory. You get 2 of them out, that's a draw. If you only got 1 of them or less, well, of course, that's, you lost. So I'm already in trouble, having lost 1 Space Marine. So even though this is really basic and simple, it's already gotten kind of tense. And then later on, as I'm moving them over, bam, another one teleports in on top of a different Space Marine. So suddenly I'm down to 2 and 1 wounded, and it was a struggle getting them there, but finally got them all out, and I made it. I mean, it's not going to be too difficult. You just have to move towards it and then get the things out of the way, and then hope they don't teleport in on top of you. But again, there are times where you have to stop on a spawn point. Any other spot around it, you might be okay if it teleports in, but if you're there, you are hosed. And then they have advanced rules, and then there's other decks. This is for level 1. If you want to go on to level 2, it has a different deck. Level 3 has a different deck. I have not looked in those other decks. They have tougher Necrons, but there are no rules for any combat that way. So they're just tougher ones for that will stand there and take more of a beating while they glare at you silently. But then there's also rules for a campaign, where instead of starting scratch, you start with those 4, and if you lose one, you got 1 reinforcement, that 5th Space Marine. But that's it. And you go from one campaign to the next one to the next one with just those 4 with the 1 reinforcement. That could be tough, I will imagine. Again, kids game, silly thing, but looked at correctly could be tense. I mean, after all, when I played the game No Quest Expanded World for the channel, I fought against the game myself so hard. Because in the rules, when you're fighting bad guys, let's say you're fighting 3, let's say orcs, and each orc does 2 points of damage. Each turn, you automatically take 2, 4, 6 points of damage. No more, no less. They don't have to roll to hit. You take that damage. And the only way to bring that down is knock them out. If you take out 1, suddenly you're only taking 4 points of damage. You knock out another one, you're only taking 2 points of damage. I fought against that. I tried to figure out alternate rules because I hate that. It still bothers me. But then when I finally gave up and said, you know what, instead of fighting it, I am going to engage with the game on its terms instead of trying to force it into mine. And that was surprisingly tense. Oh my God, when I stopped fighting it and started working with it, there were some tense battles. And the boss fight, it was, whoa, it was close. So, once you actually get into them and stop fighting them and enjoy what's there, they can be surprisingly deep with simple stuff. So I can't see playing that for a month. I can see playing 1, 2, possibly 3 sessions for a full campaign because they're relatively short. You just get to a console so that you can run off. And that's it. You run in so that you can leave. And so they don't last long. You're just trying to find out which one is your exit point and then get there. So, like I say, can't see doing it for a month. Not deep enough for that. No, it's not quite, an inch deep. It might be a little deeper than that, but it's wide but relatively shallow. Still, it was fun, and I did enjoy it, and I'd hope that other people will enjoy it when I do that. I do have other stuff up there that I want to still show and do, but I don't have them down here because I didn't play them last night. I do have some things written down up here, though. Oh, here's something I gotta reach over here for. You can't see it except for a little bit right there. I have this lamp, that's called they advertise it as a twilight lamp, to give you a full range of rich colors, like, the sun. Yeah, it's just an RGB LED light that cycles through the colors. But because you can set it to cycle or just to, jump. But I like it to cycle because, it fades between. Now, I've had these dice up on the shelf up there for a little while. And I don't know if these were advertised, but you see these dice here? These ones, when it's going through the colors, red and green and some of the other shades of blue, these all, they get dull or bright, because red in darkness looks more like black because it's such a low frequency color. But when it got to blue, all these others stayed dull. But these 3 just popped. They almost glowed. Full neon. When it was in the right shade of blue. And then it would cycle out and they go back to just the dice you see now. I don't know if they were advertised as glow in the dark. But seeing that and seeing them brighten up because of that, I was thinking to myself, well, it's only in the shades of blue. Blue is high frequency. That must be more like the blacklight colors. And these must be of the sort of thing. Let's go look up exactly what makes blacklight work. Okay, and yeah, blacklight is, it's basically ultraviolet. Except there's just a little bit of bleed through onto the visible light scale. And if you block off certain things with the shading on the inside of the tube, certain things will happen. There are phosphors. This is why in those shows when they break out the black light and to see what's lighting up, the human body produces a whole bunch of phosphors. It's like in our teeth, we got some in our blood or urine. There's half the population produces that one substance quite frequently and in places where it shouldn't be. But that glows under black light because of phosphors. So I don't know if these were advertised as having phosphors in them, but they do. And I don't know why Just this regular LED, when it cycles up through the blue, hits high enough on violet that it actually excites the phosphors. Because it takes that high frequency light to excite phosphors. Who would have expected that? Hopefully I'm not going to go blind or anything like that, because that's not filtered, let me tell you. And more than once I've accidentally stared straight into the thing that goes Brrr. So here's hoping. But I just wanted to talk about it because it was one of those, I'm staring at it, I'm trying to figure it out, I think I've got it, let's find out exactly what happens. And then I like learning things, which, before I go back over to there, ADHD squirrel, which that neuroplasticity, you need neuroplasticity. That is your brain's ability to learn new things, to make new neural connections. And this is true even of other things like muscle loss, which I'm having troubles with my joints because things hurt, but I'll get back to that. Your brain is the same way with your neuroplasticity. Use it or lose it. And so the best thing you can do for your brain is to constantly learn new things. I go a bit further. That's one of the other reasons I don't dip into nostalgia. It's because I've already been there and my ADHD is antsy because I've lived through it already. I don't want to think about it. So it's on to the next thing, which in my case is just, following, at this point, squirrels until I keel over. Thumbs up. I'm not complaining. That's a great way to do it. But neuroplasticity, you're learning new things. Now, I've mentioned before how I occasionally use some modern slang, and I've picked up some speech patterns. And I don't use slang to appear cool, because when old people like me use slang, we're not cool because we're using slang. We're just making slang uncool. And slang is largely to separate the generation. So I don't want to use slang to pick up anything. It's just that sometimes there are words that are useful. They make sense to use. I mean, yeet. Yeet is a great one. It may not be useful as slang in the world today for a lot of people, but that's a great thing, just to give it a yeet. Yeet it into the trash can. I mean, that's thumbs up. And then there's other things, but I don't pick them up for any other reason than neuroplasticity. Learning new things, making it a part of your life, and then continuing to learn new things. And that's great. Which is tying into another thing, squirrel. I was watching a thing about AI and channels, especially the channel with Kwebbelkop, whose channel has plateaued, but they are leaning in hard into AI. Their channel is AI avatar, AI scripting, AI everything. When they interact as a person with anyone else, they're interacting with their AI counterpart, and their channel's flatline, no growth. It has not lost or gained, but that means, as the people are just growing out of it, but younger people are coming in. If you are the same person that you were 5 years ago, something is wrong. Now, that doesn't mean you have to make a huge personality change. That just means you need to keep learning. If you still hold the same opinions after learning things for 5 years, there's something wrong. You don't have to, again, change your core beliefs. It's just your opinions about things about the world should alter and change with the facts as they happen, which is one of the reasons that we have such a boomer problem, is they're clinging to a past that never was and those values, and so they don't fit in with the world that has moved on past that. Which, again, I'm of boomer age, technically, anywhere from like 1960 to 1965 is they call like the cutoff of the boomer time. So if you're born within that, my arm's cramping. So if you're caught, come on, stop cramping. So if you're born within that time frame, sometimes you're considered a boomer, sometimes you're considered Gen X. The best thing I read for this was back in the early 90s when they called it Generation Jones. You're not exactly a boomer, but you're not exactly Gen X. You're caught in that middle point. Yeah, I'm of that age where I'm boomer age, so let's say. But oh my God, do I hate the boomer mindset. And when I'm like in a store like Walmart and I see an old person on one of these scooters, they look so angry. And when they talk, they sound pissed at the world. Ugh, I hate this old person mindset. I want to have neuroplasticity and change and grow. Again, you don't have to shake up and change the core of your personality. It's just you've got to change as you learn, adapt to new situations. Understand, too, that the world you grew up in no longer exists. And in fact, more than that, even the world of 5 years ago no longer exists. Things are accelerating as human experience does. For tens of thousands of years, we went like this on the whole technological social level. And then, social, we were getting slowly kind of better. And then 1850, we hit rail. And our progress went like this. And from 1850 to now, we have been going straight up. So things are changing fast, and the world that we grew up in doesn't exist. The world from 5 years ago doesn't exist. Soon the world from 2 years ago won't. And then it's going to keep on changing faster and faster. No, not everything is going to change, of course. Take a look at most of the world. Most of the world is not tech bro land. But of the places that are, most of the developed world, it's going to continue accelerating. Sometimes not so good. We're dealing with self-driving car nonsense here in the U.S. where there have been hundreds of situations in like San Francisco where the cars bang into and crash into fire vehicles going off to put out fires, so that bang, they're stopped because they're crashed. Great. Life is life. I don't want to be old man yells at cloud. Let's see what else I have on here. The last thing is I was watching a video this morning about bees, and bees are actually more amazing than you think. It was from a Ze Frank video. I don't know how exactly to pronounce the first part, Z-E. But he does a lot of real, actual research for his videos. And what bees, I've known bees were amazing, but I did not know just how amazing. They can count. I mean, literally count, and they can do more than that. They have, on the problem-solving level, they've been able to, they can count, they can determine which sizes are larger than others to make decisions when they're counting, and when given a choice, they made this decision on their own. When given a choice, to find the smaller thing, they were given a choice of 2 and 3 and 1 with nothing, and they understood the concept of 0 by going to the one with nothing on it for less. Not one of the ones that had a smaller number of shapes, the one with no shapes. They understood that nothing is smaller than any of the other numbers. Bees are amazing. And two, watching one bee as it was going around on a flower, it was just maneuvering slowly. Of course, they had to slow the camera thing, but it was maneuvering, just making tilts in real time, just lightly bonking into the petals with its antennas until it just reached out with some feet, grabbed the petal, and then pulled itself up. absolutely astonishing. Now, as for me, I'm still living with my heart doing the whole PVC stuff. It's been doing a lot of that while I've been talking. Man, that's always a fun feeling. As the doctor pointed out, our bodies are hardwired to go, oh, when something like your heart does that. And so there's been a lot of, oh, moments while I've been talking. I wish they were easier to ignore, but then on the other hand, you don't want to ignore your heart doing bad things, because that's like ignoring traffic coming at you when you walk into the street. Sure, some of it's not going to hit you, but one day. So you don't want to just do that. Past that, yeah, I've been trying to do things. I have got to do more Fallout New Vegas. Oh my god, it's been so long. My brain, I get time blind. I don't get time blind. I'm always time blind. And time blind in my case is hours pass like minutes, days pass like hours, weeks pass like days, months pass like weeks, and years pass like months. I can literally think I need to do this because I found out about it yesterday. And it's been weeks. And at the same time, by the time I hit the afternoon of a day, morning, what I'm doing here, that was yesterday. It feels like yesterday. Thumbs up. So I'm trying to do my best with just keeping myself entertained as best I can, because all I can do is use controller to play video games. And let me tell you what a change this is, because I have been a computer user since 1982 when I picked up my first computer, a VIC-20. Which I quickly traded in for a Commodore 64, because the VIC-20 only had 4 kilobytes of RAM, whereas a Commodore 64 had 64 kilobytes of RAM. From there, I got an Amiga. From Amiga, I got my first IBM clone in 1993, and then I have been just going since then, picking up the whole console obsession as well as that picked up. So, not being able to type, not being able to use my hand to use the keyboard to play games as I've been doing since 1982 is driving me nuts. There are so many games I want to play that I can't, like Grim Dawn. I don't know how you could play it with a controller. It's a nightmare trying to even figure it out. It's one of my favorite games. I can't play it with this nerve compression. But I'm still trying to do the best I can. I'm exercising, going for walkies as often as I can, and trying to keep myself entertained and trying to do things for the channel, because even though, I got a large number of subscribers, they're all shadow subscribers. The only the people that watch the channel, I'm lucky if I get, on a good day, I'll get like 300 views. So, and that takes days. And that's good. I'm not complaining for that. Nobody owes me anything. The fact that I get any views at all is gravy, because I am not owed a single view. I'm not like some of these people that are complaining, going, oh, my videos are being suppressed. Oh, how am I supposed to make a living? Look how this is happening. No, the fact that anyone watches any of my videos at all is like, thumbs up, thank you. I only get paid like once a year. I forget I get paid to make these. I don't do it because I'm getting rich or even make money. I do these because, number one, I don't have any other way to get the stuff that's inside of my head out. As much as I am withdrawn, as much as I am, because of my neurodiversity, afraid to talk to people, and I don't know how to people. As much as I have all these things that make it difficult to go out and interact with human beings, I'm still a human being, and human interaction is important. And even though this isn't exactly human interaction, I'm able to talk my stuff out. And that's important, because if I can't talk my stuff out, because I'm a talker, once I get to know you, once I can get past that stage, once I can break through that wall, I will become a talker and I'll talk your ear off, because info dumping, hey, another trait that autistic people have. So yeah, well, it's like, I think one of the jokes is, like, ask an autistic person about trains. And it's like, I can info dump on things that I love for days. So thumbs up. Oh my God, I'm at a half hour. For everybody that is a Patreon patron, thumbs up, thank you, I appreciate you. You are beautiful and awesome people. When I can, I will put your names up here. Until that point, when you look in the mirror, you're looking at someone who is beautiful and awesome. For every single person that leaves me a comment, I wish I could answer more than I do. It is so hard to type, so painful. I'm hoping that surgery fixes things. I hope I survive it. That'd be nice. The odds are overwhelming, but I could roll a natural one. It could happen. But thumbs up and thank you. Each and every comment is appreciated. And hey, to show that you watched this far, how about Phosphorescence in the comments to let the algorithm know that, yeah, people do watch. Thumbs up and thank you. So I'm just gonna try to do what I can, get out exercising, do video stuff, and thumbs up, thank you. You are beautiful people. So until we meet again, you take care. I don't know why this is my preferred position of my hands of late, but there we go. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing. I could talk for days, so maybe, people have said, you should start a podcast, but nobody would listen. I'm just an old guy. You take care. A 61-year-old white boy what don't know nothing.